James Melendez, I have this fantastic fragrance that I'm going to review next. It's by Olfactive Studios from Paris. Stay tuned for this review. Olfactive Studios is something that I was smelling years ago, and at that moment, I think that's the journey. And if you enjoy and love fragrance like I do, I think you might find your experience changes over time. What you enjoyed 10 years ago, you may not enjoy as much as you do today. Or you might really enjoy that plus other things that you didn't think you'd like. I think for me, I didn't think I'd really enjoy maybe a floral fragrance or something that would be a little more uncommon on, say, men to smell. But I think this is a really amazing fragrance. I think this bottle is absolutely beautiful. You can see this color here. It's much more of an aquamarine coloration, and I think it's absolutely stunningly gorgeous. It's something that, well, it may not appear to be that that true essence coloration, but for me, it's just that it even got me to pick it up and smell it, and I thought, oh, this is interesting. Now, this is produced by Melendez, and that's a master perfumer. Now, this particular house in Paris, they're really photograph-esque, and you can even see the packaging. It tends to feel like maybe this might be the lens, and this Olfactive Studios on this portion here seems to be very camera-esque, and I think it's a really nice, gorgeous packaging. Now, for me, I think this is a really fantastic fragrance because it's alluring. Now, this lasts a while when you put this on, so the solation is really fantastic and luxuriant. And the note in this, it gets to me every time. This is a note that I would not have expected 10 years ago to be totally in love with, and that is saffron. And the saffron is noticeable, and it's something that is just absolutely exquisite. And so when you think of saffron, it's basically flowers, right? It's for cooking. It's for the cuisine experience. And yet in some regards, it just really fits in so fittingly well with fragrance. And I think there's some people who do a really good job of it and others who don't. I think Olfactive Studios does a fantastic job. First of all, this fragrance, I just tried to put it in my 100-point scale for fragrance reviews. Where is this? And this is definitely in the 96 to 98 point range. If I had to pick a number, it's 97 because it's that alluring and that distinctive. So it's one thing to have some really amazing materials to put a fragrance together. It's another that becomes an alluring fragrance. It becomes something that's so different, and yet it's so distinctive that you can only know that this is from Olfactive Studios, and that's what I get from this particular fragrance. It is really that capture and experience. So on the top notes here, you get some petit grain, you get some saffron, some absolute tuberose, as well as plum notes, which I find very interesting. On the heart note, you get vetiver essence, you get papyrus leather, and incense. And on the base notes, you're gonna get some leather, musk, and amber notes. On the base notes, you get benzoin, you get amber, and musk notes, which I think, to me, when I capture amber and musk in particular, you get this really, I would say this fragrance that can be described just in terms of the experience of just those base notes, but it really becomes something larger, it becomes something much more earthy in my opinion. So it becomes that wood characterization. It's really fantastically beautiful. So I think this is one that I will, I do have a test when it comes to fragrance. I'm gonna put some on during this review. It does spray quite a bit. And for me, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is more than I want to use. Now, my test for a fragrance is when I have it in my collection, am I gonna buy it again? And the answer on this is yes. I could not have this. I could not live without this, in my opinion. It is that beautiful and an absolute experience of beauty and elegance and grace, and yet these strong notes that are just so, I would say, pulsating within my own being because it's that amazing. And I continue to smell that while wearing this fragrance. It really has a nice life to it. The solation is just really pleasant, beautiful, and longer lasting than most characterization. And a notation too that I get from this particular fragrance is people ask me, what are you wearing? So other fragrances that I have may never evoke that, may never be like, oh wow, that's really distinctive. And I have several fragrances like that where people are they're stopping me and they want to know what it is. And I think that's a really great mark of a fantastic fragrance. That's the point of fragrance. It's to put things from nature, put them together, and create something that's really alluring. And it's an ancient art form that is alive today, in my opinion. So you looked about 10 to 20 years ago, you had about 300 fragrance releases per year with a few days, 60 days where you didn't have a release. But today we've probably tripled that. We probably have anywhere between any given year 1,800 to even 3,000. So it's multiples coming out every day. But I think that's a fantastic thing. Overall, if you look at the fragrance market around the world, it's growing. In the United States, it's kind of shrinking. I think there's really great producers like this who are owning their own, and they're really coming to the marketplace with some fantastic, beautiful fragrance that I think people are really wanting, and something that's just so identifiable. I know that I'm smelling saffron, and maybe you're going to get the amber from this, or the musk, or you're going to get the vetiver, and I think that's the point of this fragrance, and I think that's the master perfumer who is actually going through and creating these amazing luxuriant fragrances. Thank you for watching. More fragrance reviews to come. Check this particular line out, because I think if you like this particular fragrance, Olfactive Studios Ombre Indigo, you're going to love the entire line. So thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more. Sante.